Welcome to the Lifestyle Medicine Clinic. This is Dr. David Drozek asking, are you ready for health? This is one in several of our videos from the lifestylemedicineclinic.us. I would encourage you to look at the website for the references that I'll be talking to and other videos that will help you find some healthy exercise options. You can get us at www.thelifestylemedicineclinic.us. On the left side, in the sidebar on our website, you'll find the recipe of the day, which is vegetable soup, which has been modified from Jeff Novick's Fast Food Basics. The recipe starts out with a tomato product. It can be whole tomatoes, diced tomatoes, canned tomatoes, tomato juice, tomato soup. Ideally, you want to look for a low sodium version of those. And then you can add some legumes. They can be canned beans. Again, you want to look for low sodium if you can. Or you can throw in some dried beans. It'll take a little bit longer to cook. Or lentils, which cook up pretty quickly. And you can put those in and still be done probably within a half an hour on the lentils. And then you can add your vegetables. If you like onion, put in some fresh onion or frozen onion. If you have some fresh vegetables, that's great. Otherwise, you can use canned vegetables or frozen vegetables. Again, look for the low sodium version. And you want to add some leafy greens such as spinach or collards or kale. These can be fresh or frozen or even canned. Then a healthy starch. This can be fresh or frozen corn or whole grains or potatoes, pasta. You can even do the potatoes up ahead of time in the microwave so that quicker to cook in the soup. The pasta, you might want to hold off until just before you're ready to serve the food and back up about the 10 minutes or so that it takes for the pasta to throw that in so it doesn't get too mushy. And then seasoning, such as Mrs. Dash. You want to avoid the salt-containing seasonings. Learn how to use these. Mrs. Dash is one brand. Most grocery stores have their own proprietary brand. You can also put fresh herbs such as basil, oregano, parsley, things like that, or use the dried leaf versions. And then you want to spice this up a little bit more with garlic or garlic powder, but not the garlic salt. You could use curry powder if you like, or turmeric if you like that kind of a flavor, or ginger. Even the raw ginger root is great. Throw all that into the pot, cook it up, and serve your nice healthy soup along with some healthy crackers like Wausau crackers and some fresh ground peanut butter. You've got a wonderful. So again, returning to our website, as you scroll down, you'll find some other videos that we'll refer to that help demonstrate the types of physical activity that we'll be talking. We are made to move. The definition of physical fitness is the ability to carry out daily tasks with vigor and alertness, with undue fatigue, with ample energy to enjoy leisure time pursuits, and the ability to respond to emergencies. Unfortunately, too many of us in the United States are not physically fit. We sit too much, we watch screens way too much, and we don't do enough of that standing and walking and these physical activities that we're going to talk about. So we want to help you begin to program into your life some more physical activity so that you can move down this spectrum from the red zone to the green. Physical inactivity in itself is increasing the burden of disease. It contributes about 6% of the burden of coronary artery disease, 7% for diabetes, 10% for breast and colon. So physical activity is contributing to these illnesses. Physical activity also contributes to depression, increased weight, high blood pressure, and many other things such as arthritis and death from all causes. People who are physically inactive spend about $1,500 more a year in healthcare costs. There are lots of benefits to physical activity, such as decreased risk of death from all causes, decreased risk of heart disease and stroke, diabetes, colon and breast cancer, and risk of injury. It improves your mood and mental function and helps with maintaining that healthy weight. Also, it pays in dollars and cents. For every hour of physical activity, you will save about $12 off your health care expense. So, what exercise is best? Well, it depends. It depends on you. What do you enjoy? The best exercise is one that you will find convenient, that you like doing, and that you will do it. If you don't do it, it's not very healthy for you at all. Well, do you even need to exercise? It depends. Maybe not. If you're regularly out dancing or gardening or doing vigorous physical activity, you may not need to add any additional exercise. However, if you're not, you need to think about it. One of the easiest exercises to add is walking. It's inexpensive, no equipment's required, it can be done anywhere, and no training is required. Now, maybe you have some poor hips and painful knees and walking doesn't work for you. Well, check out some of the videos below to see what else can be done, such as chair marches. You can at least do that and do it in a way that's comfortable but yet gives you some exercise. We'll talk more about some other things you can do here shortly. Overall, we want to know what's the dose. When we think about prescribing physical activity, we ask the questions: how fast, how long, how often? Well, if you're doing moderate physical activity, about 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week is pretty good. Moderate exercise can be measured by the talk test, meaning that for moderate exercise, you can be walking with a buddy and you can be talking to them, but you're too short of breath to sing. Now, you can increase that level of exercise to vigorous, which then decreases the amount of time by 15 minutes. So, for vigorous exercising, meaning you're chugging along so much you can't even talk, 15 minutes a day, 5 days a week is enough to meet the CDC recommendation. However, if you're losing weight or struggling to maintain weight loss, you will need to double those times. So 60 minutes a day of moderate exercise or 30 minutes a day of vigorous exercise. And so it's usually pretty good to do this with a buddy, somebody else that helps make it enjoyable for you. So exercise daily as much as possible. Get out there whenever the weather's good and take a good brisk walk. You can also count your steps. Many of our smartphones do this. You can buy a pedometer or some other device like a Fitbit. You want to get at least 6,000 steps a day. It's been shown that people with bad knees, if they even walk 6,000 steps a day, they usually have some improvement in their pain levels for their arthritic knees. 10,000 steps a day is recommended, or even more if you can get there. You want to aim to exercise daily. Get out there whenever you can, and that when the weather's good, then if you need a day off for some reason, that's okay, but try to get out there every day, at least 5 days a week. A brisk walk is a great way to start, as we've already talked about. Now, you can use a step counter to help motivate you. Many of our smartphones have step counters built in. You can buy a device like a Fitbit or a pedometer to help count your steps. And the studies show, even if you've got arthritic knees and it's a little uncomfortable, if you walk at least 6,000 steps a day, you'll find that your pain begins to decrease in those rickety knees. The recommendations are that you get up to about 10,000 steps a day or even more for additional health benefit. When's the best time to exercise? Well, you can exercise first thing in the morning before eating, which can help with weight loss because you've used up your glycogen stores and you begin burning fat. So if you do that exercise in the morning, you'll help in your weight maintenance. After meals, decreases that spike in blood sugar, which helps with diabetes control and also helps with weight control. There are multiple types of physical activity that can be done, and we categorize them in a variety of ways, such as flexibility and stretching and balance, and that strength or resistance training, and that aerobic endurance or cardiovascular activity, and even just not sitting can be considered a type of physical activity. So first of all, we'll talk about flexibility and stretching. In the sidebar, there's a download where you can see a flexibility or stretching routine. Down below this, there's a video that can take you through a stretching activity. This is putting your body through its range of motion. It's very helpful for your activities of daily living so that you can reach down and tie your shoes, and you can reach up in the cupboard and get things out that you need. You can actually use this as a warm-up for your other physical activity. And it's recommended that you do this about 10 minutes, 2 to 3 times a week. And you do this with all your major muscle groups. And this can be done with 2 to 4 repetitions of each, holding that stretched position for 10 to 30 seconds to get a total of 60 seconds when you add the repetitions together. And you need to be careful that you avoid that bouncing, which can tear muscles, or causing any pain. Flexibility and stretching exercises should cause no discomfort. Things like Pilates and yoga actually do this without thinking about it. You just do your yoga or Pilates routine. And again, if you're physically active, you may not need to do this. If you normally, through your daily activities, are flexible. You might also need balance exercises. As we get a little older or a little less sure of ourselves, or our knees or hips are bothering us, we might need to do something to help us avoid those falls. Well, that's what balance exercises can help us do. You can do these 20 to 30 minutes a day, 3 days a week, or more. It can be part of your normal activity, such as gardening and housework. It also would be included in things like Tai Chi and yoga. But you can do your own purposeful balance exercises right at home, standing behind a chair and stand on one foot and then the other foot, and keep that chair handy to give you support if you're unsteady. Again, on the side of in the sidebar, there's a download as well as a video below to guide you through some balance exercises. These are helpful to decrease the injury from falls, the need of medical care, and the risk of fractures. Next, we can think about strengthening or resistance training, um, which give our bones and muscles some strength. This can be done 2 to 3 times a week. And it can be done in various ways. You can do it with weights. You can do it with resistance bands. You can actually do it with gravity when you think of your body doing squats or set-ups or push-ups where you're actually resisting gravity. These can be done 2 to 3 times a week, 8 to 12 repetitions per muscle group. And they should be separated by about 48 hours between bouts of exercise to allow some recovery. I usually use these for the inclement days. So if I've got a week's worth of exercise, I may do this 1 or 2 days when it's raining or inclement outside, and do walking the rest of the days. But if you can get this in 2 or 3 times a week, it's helpful. Again, if you're doing some good physical activity by gardening, things like that, and you're lifting the shovel and doing that, it may, in actuality, be doing this for you. These strength training exercises benefit from decreasing injury, and pain, and fatigue. They also improve the quality of your mood and of life overall. You sleep better, your cholesterol and blood sugar are lower, your heart is healthier, your muscles are healthier, and it helps you maintain that normal weight. Now, a lot of us, when we think about exercise, we think about the aerobic or endurance exercises, that long-term running and things like that. And indeed, those are aerobic or endurance exercises. But some of these others that we've talked about above can qualify as well, such as walking can be an aerobic exercise if done appropriately. Aerobic exercise is the movement of large muscles in rhythmic manner for a sustained period of time. The recommendations that we already talked about from the CDC, which are listed in the sidebar, are 150 minutes a week, which is about 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, if you do it at the moderate level, or at the vigorous level, 15 minutes a day, 5 days a week, for a total of 75 minutes. And again, you need double the amount of exercise if you're seeking to maintain a healthy weight. Aim for at least 10 minutes per session. However, it can be even less if all you can fit into your schedule is repeated episodes of 2 to 3 minutes at a time, then do that. A body in motion remains in motion. A body at rest remains at rest. We need to get up off the couch, get out of the chair, take a walk, do something. That prolonged sitting alone is a risk factor. It contributes to 7% of deaths. You need to start moving about every 20 minutes that you are awake. You can set your alarm on your clock or your watch to get you moving, to remind you, especially if you're prone to be sitting and watching a screen for a long period of time. I do want to point out that exercise is not a good primary strategy for weight loss. We've talked about that before in some of our other sessions. Successful weight loss requires a long-term lifestyle change. It's a combination of a healthy plant-based diet, which will decrease your calorie intake as you increase the consumption of foods high in fiber and water. I refer you to our first session on fiber if you aren't familiar with that. And then you want to increase the calories you burn with exercise. However, without that decrease of caloric intake, your increased burning of calories will not be enough. Another caveat to remember is that your body will let you lose weight for about 6 to 12 months. It's used to this yearly feast and famine cycle based on the season. But once you get past that 6 to 12 month period and you continue with that decreased caloric intake, your body's going to think the famine is lasting too long and will slow down your metabolism to regain that fat that it had in storage before to get ready for the next famine. So unfortunately, even though if you maintain that healthy diet, you may find the weight start creeping back on. The only way to overcome that is to double those CDC recommendations. Get up to 30 minutes a day of vigorous exercise or 60 minutes a day of moderate exercise. Here's how easy those calories sneak in that we need to overcome, we need to restrict. So for every 100 calories that you take a day that you don't need, that are in excess of what you need for your normal function, that over time will increase your weight by 10 pounds. So for example, if at the end of the day you've burnt off exactly what you've eaten and you decide you're going to drink a Coca-Cola at 140 calories and you do that every day, expect over the next 3 years to put on 10 pounds. Half of that will come that first year. Mountain Dew, 170 calories, that's 17 pounds. Even that fat-free milk, that's 12 pounds. Can of beer, bottle of wine, or a glass of wine, about 15 pounds. You can't effectively burn off those extra calories unless you're something like a marathon runner. For example, a Snickers bar. You'd need to walk an hour and a half to burn off those extra calories. Krispy Kreme donut, an hour. Coca-Cola, about 45 minutes. So the average American's consuming about 500 calories in excess a day. That's 2.5 hours worth of exercise just to get back to where you want to be at neutral. So the math doesn't work. You can't count on exercise alone to help you lose weight. You need to restrict that calorie intake by eating those foods that are high in fiber and water. Physical activity is important even by itself, apart from the idea of weight maintenance. It does increase your metabolism, which is healthy, and it improves your overall health, your heart health, your muscle tone and ability to function, your bone strength, and your brain and emotional health as well. So, in review, let's talk about the dosage. How much exercise should you be doing? Well, you want to aim for at least 30 minutes a day of moderate exercise, or if you're using a pedometer, about 10,000 steps. You can consider shorter sessions of 10 to 15 minutes, 2 to 3 times a day. It can be a brisk walk. That pedometer can help you work up to that 10,000 steps. The best time can be maybe first thing in the morning before eating. That can help with that weight loss because it burns more fat. After meals, it helps decrease that spike in blood sugar, which helps better control diabetes and weight. What if you can't walk? Then I would refer you below to the chair exercises or elastic band or resistant training exercises. You can do yoga and Pilates. You can do those even in a chair, or swimming is an excellent exercise for people who have bad hips and knees. You can do stretching, 10 minutes, 2 to 3 times a week. It can be a warm-up for one of your other forms of exercise. You want to use all those major muscle groups, 2 to 4 repetitions, total for 60 seconds. Hold those for 10 to 30 seconds each stretch. No bouncing, no pain. Balance exercises if you need those. 20 to 30 minutes, 3 days or more a week. Begin with holding onto a support if you're unsteady. And then that strengthening or resistance training, 2 to 3 times a week. 8 to 12 repetitions per muscle group, and give yourself a break of about 48 hours between using those same muscles to allow them to recover. And overall, that 150 minutes a week of moderate exercise, 75 minutes a week of vigorous exercise, and double that amount for maintenance of weight loss. And those sessions can be 10 minutes each. And get up off the couch. The greatest health benefit from exercise comes from getting up off the couch. Everything after that is incremental. Consider a dog. People who have a dog tend to walk more. And consider a buddy, a human buddy, to help spur you along and be a conversation partner path. There are also trainers, exercise trainers, and health coaches that can help you. And again, I would refer you back to our website. Scroll down for additional options for exercise. Check out the handouts that you can download. And remember, defeat's not the worst of failures. Not to have tried is the truth. So it's time for goals. There's a goal sheet in the left sidebar. You can download that, print that off, and set your goals. Maybe something like, I'll get a pedometer and measure my steps this week, or I'll walk 10 minutes a day this week on 5 days, or maybe I will exercise for 10 minutes after my evening meal. You find some goals, a handful of them, that work well for you, and put them into work. Find a buddy to be accountable to, and good health. I hope you are ready for health. I hope we're helping you find. Thank you. This is David Drozik at The Lifestyle Medicine.